That finish at Kansas Speedway left a lot of people with mixed feelings. And honestly, it is easy to see why. For most of the race, everything looked settled. The pace was controlled, the leader had command, and it felt like the result was heading toward a well-earned conclusion. Then, in a matter of seconds, everything changed. And that is exactly why this race has become such a talking point. Because what happened was not just about one dramatic ending, it tapped into a much bigger conversation about NASCAR itself, how races are decided, how late cautions affect outcomes, and whether the current system rewards performance or simply creates chaos for entertainment. At Kansas, Tyler Reddick delivered a massive win in the Advent Health 400, but it came under circumstances that immediately sparked debate. For much of the afternoon, Denny Hamlin looked like the driver to beat. He had speed, track position, and control of the race. Everything pointed toward him sealing the victory. But with only a few laps remaining, a spin from Cody Ware brought out a late caution. That yellow flag erased Hamlin's advantage and sent the race into NASCAR overtime. Just like that, a race that felt locked up became a sprint to the finish. On the restart, Reddick showed exactly why he is becoming one of the most dangerous drivers in the field. He stayed calm, handled the pressure, and made the winning move when it mattered most. It was not luck, it was execution under the highest pressure possible. That victory was more than just another trophy. It was another statement in the 2026 season. Week after week, Reddick is proving that he is not just competitive, he is building serious championship momentum. But while Reddick celebrated, the bigger story shifted toward Hamlin's reaction. After the race, Hamlin made it clear that he was frustrated not with Reddick, but with the circumstances that changed the race. He questioned how late race cautions and overtime rules continue to reshape outcomes, especially when one driver has dominated for most of the day. And that frustration is not new. Hamlin has raised concerns before about NASCAR's overtime format and how quickly a race can be flipped by a late caution. To him, it is not about one loss, it is about a recurring issue in the sport. That is what makes this conversation so important, because NASCAR's overtime system is built to guarantee exciting finishes, and there is no denying that it delivers drama. Fans get intense restarts, unpredictable endings, and unforgettable moments. But the downside is clear. When a late caution resets the field, it can erase everything a driver built over hundreds of laps. A lead earned through strategy, consistency, and speed can disappear instantly. That creates a serious debate. Should the sport prioritize the most deserving driver over the course of the race, or the most thrilling finish possible? That tension is at the center of NASCAR right now. And Hamlin's position adds another layer, because he is not just a driver, he is also co-owner of 23XI Racing, the same team that Reddick drives for. That means he experienced both sides of the outcome in one moment. As a competitor, he lost a race he largely controlled. As a team owner, his organization won. To his credit, Hamlin acknowledged Reddick's performance and gave him full respect for capitalizing on the opportunity. There was no bitterness toward his own team, but he also made it clear that when he is in the car, he is a competitor first, and losing in that way feels personal. That honesty resonated with many fans. Because this is not just about one driver's frustration, it is about a system that continues to create controversy. And the concern is bigger than Kansas. If similar late race scenarios continue throughout the season, especially in playoff races, these decisions could shape who advances, who gets eliminated, and ultimately, who wins a championship. That is why this discussion matters. Reddick's win was absolutely legitimate. He executed perfectly and earned the result within the rules. But at the same time, it is impossible to ignore that without that late caution, the outcome may have looked completely different. That does not take anything away from Reddick. It simply raises questions about whether the balance between competition and entertainment is where it should be. And that is where NASCAR finds itself right now. Fans love exciting finishes, but they also want fairness. The sport has to decide whether its current structure truly rewards excellence over the full race, or whether it increasingly leans toward manufactured drama in the closing laps. Because if these moments continue, they will not just define individual races. They could define the season itself. What happened at Kansas was more than an overtime finish. It was another chapter in a growing conversation about how NASCAR wants its races to be remembered. And if this season continues on the same path, every caution, every restart, and every overtime finish will be examined more closely than ever. Because now the question is not just who is fastest, it is who can survive the chaos, and whether the system that creates that chaos is helping or hurting the sport.